Welcome back, you guys. If you've been a longtime viewer, thank you so much for joining us for this journey. If you're new to glassblowing or new to the channel, welcome. I'm Dustin, here with Kevin, and we're here to share some glassblowing, some culture with you guys. We really appreciate you joining. If you're not subscribed, you guys should be subscribing right now and turn that bell on. It's a great channel and a great community, and we'd love to have you be part of it.
And especially because over the next 3 episodes, we're going to be showing you guys the complete construction of this pretty sweet headpiece.
Yeah.
Start to finish, wigwags and all. So just the first part this week, and then over the next 2 episodes, we'll finish it out.
Yeah, we really wanted to focus on some construction for you guys, and how to put these things that we've been showing you together to make a bigger piece. And I think this took us about 9 hours or so of actual glass blowing time.
Thereabout.
So just take the techniques that you've seen. It's like Legos. You make all these components and then you put them together.
Totally. Yeah, this was a great one to work on, and I think you guys are going to like it.
Cool. I wanted to share with you guys how exciting the online school has been. We've added so much functionality. We have a forum where people are sharing questions and the community's answering. We have classrooms so that each teacher has their own classroom, an area to share with the private, syllabus and things like that for the class. There's photos. Kevin and I have been working together for years, and even before that, I took a bunch of photos. So we probably have 100,000 photos, and I've been sorting them and putting those up, on top of all the videos and everything else. There's a free trial right now, so I'd love to see you guys there. Just go ahead and sign up for the free trial and check it out, see if you like it.
Totally, it's great having everything in one place. Your mentorship, the Maestro program is there. Yeah. The workshops are right on the website now. It's really nice and streamlined.
Yeah, and like you said, the mentorship classes are every other Wednesday, and it's been really great to be connecting with you guys who are in the mentorship, and it's a really solid group of people helping each other, encouraging and asking questions. So, if you are starting your studio or if you want to work on specific things, sign up for the mentorship for a month or 2. You can cancel any time and get what you want out of it,
Totally. And of course, speaking of workshops, we have some good ones coming up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Creep Manager hurt his shoulder a little bit, so he's totally fine, just not up for 8 hours or more of glass blowing in a row. So, got an awesome special guest instead.
Yeah, so we're really lucky to host Cool Hand Suze again. Cool Hand Suze and myself and Kevin have worked together for years. She was the collaborating artist on one of the Revere Glass production lines. She was the head scientific teacher at Revere Glass for a while. She's an amazingly skilled lathe worker. And so for those of you guys who have a lathe, or even if you're just starting off and want to kind of watch how the hand movement should be, Suze is a great example of a teacher that's really going to add in a lot of fundamentals and stuff that's going to give you a really great foundation to build stuff both by hand and on the lathe. So that's on the 20th of March, and it's only $99 or $49 or $75 or whatever you are, depending on the membership level of the school. It's not very expensive. It's going to be 8 hours, and I would really love to see you there. Suze is an amazing teacher.
It's going to be great to have her. I'm so excited to have her on the live style class and see what she can teach. It's going to be great.
Yep. So you can just sign up right at the website and become a member of the school. It's been cool. It's been cool to see it grow and to meet you guys and everything.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. We also have a full calendar of workshops for the entire 2021. We have really great artists coming. We have Hick Dog coming, Creep is still coming, Gus Glass. We have Visionary Glass coming to make some recyclers.
Nice, it's going to be cool. I'm so excited. And such a breadth of knowledge, right? Yeah. Even if you're not into the, style piece they might be making, you're just going to learn so much about different ways to do things, right?
Just a little trick, even if you learn one little thing, especially for the price point that these are at, it's oh my God, you could just learn this little thing. It would make your work so much easier.
Right, it's all those little tricks.
That's all, it's the little bench tricks, the jigs, the little things that you build to hold things.
Oh, that's how you do that.
Yeah. Anyway, we'd love to see you on the online school for the workshops, mentorship community, whatever you're interested in. And definitely check out the calendar. As they come up, we'll obviously tell you guys, who's coming up next, but it's a long list.
And we also have a Discord server now as well. So if you're on Discord, hop on there. We have the virtual studio, so you can come hang out just with other people, just shoot the shit while you're blowing glass if you don't have anybody around in your own shop. And it's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. And Kevin's been spearheading that. He's on there a lot. So if you have questions, he's pretty fast to respond as well.
Totally. And we've been doing a Friday evening hangout. So stop by on Fridays and we'll hang out for a bit in the studio.
Cool.
We wanted to thank our sponsor, Mountain Glass Arts, as always. So much awesome color coming out of there recently, and awesome tools too. I know you just picked up those Taglio tools. Very cool.
Yep, those tools are really nice. For those of you guys who haven't tried the Taglio tools, the things I've tried are very high quality. So you can check those out. And yeah, definitely thank you to Mountain Glass for sending those tools, and also a huge box of color. I don't know if you guys are watching on Instagram, but we just shared it on Instagram. I don't know, 20 pounds, 30 pounds of color.
Definitely quite a bit. I was like, well, Dustin's like, could you get the door? I was like, oh, no problem. Gotcha.
So yeah, we just want to thank Mountain Glass Arts for their continued support, working together, and just their customer service, the whole deal. We feel so good about working with them, and that's why we want to share it with you guys, because these don't sell these tools at Walmart. So
absolutely.
There's only a couple places to grab them.
Absolutely. Thanks again to Mountain Glass Arts.
Yep. You want to get in the studio and start making this thing?
Let's do it. Let's hop on in.
You guys got 9 hours?
Let's do it.
All right, we'll see you in there.
So you're starting out here with a real nice piece of some vac stacked jet black that you had heating up in the kiln. And obviously this is probably a little bit more than you would need for this piece. So you're gonna, blow tube up, break this down to some more manageable sections.
It might be a little bit more than I need, but it's good to have extra, and we may end up using it all.
Totally. But definitely to start out, you're not going to work with the whole section at once.
Not at all. We got to break this down into the usable sections, making sure that we have enough color, small pieces and little components that we're going to build later on, and
totally
might want to add a black.
So just using that Mirage flame, heating it up there. And I noticed you moved your V-blade or your rollers, Dustin.
For you. I moved them for you.
It's kind of different, but I dig it.
Because the camera was always focusing on the rollers as opposed to the glass. So when filming now, I've moved them over to the side. And
it's nice. Lets you get your Marver a little bit more under the torch as well.
Yeah.
And kind of clears up the space. It's nice.
Yeah, it's been working good. I realized too when I grabbed this tubing, this vac stack is probably like 5 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, it's still good. That's a nice thing.
No,
about
you
class,
prep
right?
up work, and we would have had to do it. We would have had to make a black vac stack if we didn't have it.
Just clean it off, make sure there's no dust around. Maybe rinse off the inside if it's been sitting open for a while, and good to go.
One thing to keep in mind with like a solid color vac stack tubing, like black or white or yellow or something like that, it's really important if you're going to make it into a disc or a sphere. If you twist it up, it will really help when you're expanding it to keep it even, as opposed to having the lines vertical. That's not going to be as easy to, make into a sphere.
Right. One rod might be a little bit hotter than the other rod, and then you just get kind of an uneven shape.
Yeah. But if you're spiraling it around, I feel like it kind of like holds it into shape.
Totally. You're if one rod wants to heat up a little faster than another rod, they're much more spread out, and right next to another small rod.
Yeah, and definitely like later on, I think we're going to use a little bit more black. I know for sure I twisted it up on the disc.
Totally.
Which is definitely an important move.
So you're just kind of taking this section and starting to shape it as the neck for the mini tube.
Yeah.
Or kind of not mini tube, but a headpiece.
Yeah, exactly. And, at this point, I kind of have like a rough idea in my head of the general shapes, and so I'm going to start shaping the components and then see what feels right and move the piece around with the shapes that I'm making. So yeah, just starting off trying to get like the basics neck shape in there.
Nice Maria there after that very kind of slim kind of Italian style taper. I don't know, it also kind of gives me those Italian vibes, your lines kind of.
Well, they had a big influence on me.
Totally.
So, yeah, I gotta love the Italians and all their mastery of glass. And definitely that's what I was really inspired by. And, I looked up to those guys and admire them. I still do. They're just incredible masters. And I like the classical look, but a little bit more stretched out, like a neoclassical stylized look, you know.
So you're gonna make flattening this out because you're gonna make a donut under that Maria.
Yeah, might as well, right?
Pretty
Just
cool.
for fun.
I like that, and you know, functionally a great splash guard. Also.
Exactly.
So what you did here is, I don't know if you've done this. We've shown this donut technique exactly, where you're popping a hole and then you're gonna use the bowl push to connect them.
I think the last time we did a donut, I popped one hole.
Okay.
And then I pushed through maybe. We did do a donut in it was like a little mini rig with 2 discs. And didn't one of those have a donut?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Maybe both
Way
of them?
back? Yeah. Have you done a donut in the online school? Yeah.
No, not yet.
Oh,
no.
That might be a good one.
Yeah, but
Do
definitely.
like a little like many hole donut. Swiss perk almost.
Yeah, or maybe like a donut.
Oh,
you know, like what
KGB,
Carlos used to be.
KGB and Carlos style.
Yeah,
totally.
Exactly.
Breakfast.
So I just put a hole in each side, and I'm gonna put push the with the bowl push, and then connect those 2 holes. And the reason why I started doing it like this is because when I was breaking the glass from one hole, I would get some scuzz. And if I connect it now, there's no break, and then I use a graphite, and I have no scuzz on the inside of my donut.
Right, there's no like
I love that, how it shoots through like that.
It's so cool, and you kind of almost directs the flame as you move it. And now you can use your brass reamer to start opening that up more. Now that it's started, you can get the full reamer in there.
Yeah, exactly. But even so, like I would have preferred to have a graphite reamer in that shape, which I just got now from the Taglay tools. Thank you, Mountain Glass Arts. Those are amazing.
That'll be nice. A nice long, very pointy graphite.
Yeah, and that's like the preference. So I went kind of back and forth a little bit, but you want to be careful with the scuzz on these donuts.
Totally, and like leaving any marks with the brass when it's hot.
Yeah. So just open it up with the jacks a little bit.
And it's the yellow jacket.
I keep using it.
I see you're still getting a little used to the knobs. You got them real touchy style, very Dustin style.
Yeah.
But it's been nice.
I've used it for everything for almost 2 weeks now. And to be honest, I like it a little bit better than the Smith, and might just be that it matches in color, but it is like absolutely fine to use.
It does stay on a lot better than the Smith.
Totally.
I will say, it's never blowing out.
Yeah.
Unless it's only time it blows out is if the mix is off.
Yeah.
Versus the Smith all the time, if you move it wrong.
Oops. Well, let's just knock that off.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, we don't need that anyway.
That happens sometimes, right? Just roll with it, right?
Yeah.
Don't freak out. Right back in the flame. I saw you were a little freaked out when that popped off. That surprised you. You were expecting that handle to be a handle, and it wasn't.
No, it was too thick. See, it was a little bit too thick. I need to blow it out. So just taking this off, and then I'm going to use that sections of the donuts for another piece for the same section. But it gives me the opportunity to actually add a colored neck piece and lip wrap, which is going to really enhance the piece.
Totally. To turn a lemon into lemonade here. And the since that was so thick, when you went back into it, the heat wasn't enough to bring it back up to temperature before the more aggressive flame, probably, right? That probably was a component in the crack.
Putting it in the kiln for 10 minutes, not working so fast, taking your time, that's definitely, keys. And we took our time with this piece in general.
Totally.
We got it through the kiln. It didn't crack. Very unusual. Well, we don't need to knock on wood anymore. It's not cracked.
It's done.
Out of the kiln.
It's sitting right over there. Good to go.
Yeah, but usually on every time I make a piece like this, there's some crack that has to get fixed. But this one went really smooth.
Yeah, we definitely took our time when the kiln breaks, because once you're 6.5 hours deep, you're like, all right, let's not crack the can.
Yeah,
please, with all the horns attached.
And we were like 9 hours of film of blowing glass, and 13 hours of like hanging out.
Yeah, about 13 hours of total filming with breaks and kiln time and we wandered off to go get a snack or whatever. So you moved on to a classic colorway that you love to use here. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The wisteria, the purples, the whites, and then the kind of fade to black.
Yeah. The difference with this one, which is really cool, is I used crayon colors for the stringers, right? So like normally I would have used like steel wool or something that would be like very typical, like this color powder with steel wool. But in this one I used like highlights of orange and yellow and red. And I thought that came out really interesting.
It's very nice. It's a good contrast to the pastels and the whites and the kind of creams.
let us know how you guys choose your colors. What do you guys like to do? Do you use a color wheel? Have you studied color theory, or you just do it on instinct and what feels right?
Just go into the rod selection and just what strikes your fancy.
Yeah. Kevin's particularly good at looking at color. For those of you guys that don't know, Kevin is extremely accurate with looking at hue variance.
Oh, I thank you.
Yeah, it's true.
We were funny when we were unpacking that Mountain Glass Arts box the other day, looking at the colors. We're like, is this red that unlabeled red? So like, all right, we got some ketchup. Is this what's in the box?
Yep.
No, I don't think so. Red crayon? Oh, that's the same one. Like,
especially with those older crayon colors, they're not consistent.
Totally.
Right? You could buy a batch of one color and it could have 3 different hues or more in it, depending on how visually acute you are. Right?
Someone was mentioning this in the On the Torch Discord the other day. They had some like occasionals of a striking color.
Yep.
And different rods just worked completely, struck completely differently. He was like, is this an occasionals thing? And probably, generally for first quality, you'd expect it to be a little more similar, but
it's also like older, like before the color companies were like very refined. Mm-hmm. Like original North Star colors were very
totally back in the day.
Yeah, like
right. I mean, all hand pulled, hand mixed, right? Abe and a drill.
Yeah. So here I'm just doing a wig wag, but instead of doing the normal tight wig wags that I do, I want to do something kind of more playful and fun, and also something that really brought the color around the whole thing. Because if I just done like a really tight wig wag, it would have just been on one side. But this way, we get that pattern on all the sides, and just I'm basically going all the way around and then going back all the way around.
Right. It's a like much more wavy kind of thing, rather than making sharp turns. You're making kind of waves. Yeah.
And it's just it's fun to practice different ways to bend the tubing. I mean, to me, I think this looks great. A different look than the tight super tight wig wags that I typically do. But I've been trying to mess around a little bit and play with different kinds of kicks and spacings, and now that I have the control in there, I can vary it a little bit.
Totally. So just seeing how that matches up to that other section there, and they look good. So into the kiln they go. And you're going to grab a little solid color blowout here of some pink slime, a classic.
Another piece that was just sitting on the bench from a previous project. We were looking for some, the right color for the lip wrap. I think we'd even experimented a little bit and tried a few different things, but and ended up I felt like that pink was really gonna go well with the pastels.
And a little bit of a pop at the top there.
Yeah, pop at the top.
So you just grab that section of neck out of the kiln now that's been sitting for about 10 minutes.
Yep.
Just match the sizes of those holes up, and they'll be ready to seal on there.
Yeah, I like to do like a thick kind of exaggerated lip. I think you guys have seen that in my work before, but I feel like that really completes the piece and also gives you a nice place to draw from.
Totally. And it if you want to pick the piece up by the neck, keeps you from gives you a nice place to pick it up by also.
So I'm just gonna heat this in and then condense it, get it really thick, and then blow right through the center to pop it and then flare it open.
Right, pulling it back into more of a donut of glass around the top all there, using gravity to bring it down to that kind of mushroomy shape.
Yeah.
And then you'll pop the hole and open it up to the same diameter as the neck.
This would also be the shape that you would make prior to faceting, right? You'd want to have it like mushroom and kind of thicker on the sides so that you could facet it if you wanted.
Give yourself enough meat there that you can make those facets on the sides. So got that hole open, and once again, you just use the jacks to shape that up.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind when you're shaping up a lip wrap like this is that I'm not trying to flare from the inside like I would. What I'm trying to do is bring that wall thickness, that wall line, the same from the tube to the inner part of the lip wrap. So the lip wrap is not flared yet, and see where my jacks, they're guided by the inner diameter of the neck.
Right, it's not going past the inner diameter, right? It's just a straight tube.
Yeah.
It just turns into the pink slime at the top.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like a pink slime Maria.
Yes. So open that up, and then I'm going to use my wide angled graphite reamer to make sure that's nice and flared and even.
Just kind of give it a bevel right at the edge and kind of gives a nice mouthfeel to it.
And then I'll do the same thing on a 16 millimeter blow tube and then connect those two. And this is going to be a 10 on the seal scale here.
This is the seal because you're going to be working the whole piece off of this eventually. So this is one you do not want to be popping off on you.
Yeah, no. And the thing is that this one can pop off because especially depending on the color that you use for the lip, I've definitely had like that not really want to stay because I make that super thick and super connected because like you said, I'm going to have like some weight on the end of this thing, 9 hours of work. And, I don't want to drop it when I'm bringing it to the kiln 8.5 hours in,
Right. Many kiln cycles, even though the blow tube's not getting hot, if that heat starts to creep up towards it, you want to make sure that seal is good to go.
So it's still a little bit long, I felt like, for what I wanted. So I just took off the end piece. I can definitely use that for something later. Probably in like 5 years, I'll be like, oh yeah, I need a little section of this color.
Never toss your useful scraps, guys.
Nope. So I'm going to just even this out, make sure it's good on the Marver. And then, this is basically ready to connect to that donut pretty soon here.
Using the top-down view for this video also, let us know if you guys like that. Might start incorporating it a little bit on season 3 as well.
Yeah, that's what we do on the online school. So like if you guys have joined the online school or check that out, there's some great workshops coming up. I mean, Suze is going to be here.
Oh, it's going to be great. And then we break out all 4 camera angles.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Top down, over the shoulder,
yeah.
Detail shots. She's going to be on the lathe.
Yep.
It'll be great.
Yeah, so we have many camera angles. If you guys are enjoying the top down and some of the other angles, definitely check out the school. There's a free trial right now, and you guys are just totally welcome to check it out, see if you like it.
Just connecting that up to your previous section of black there for the neck. And of course, making sure that seal is nice and solid, really melting it in.
Yeah, it looks good. And, this is, if you have a lathe, this is a good seal to make on the lathe. It's a straight seal. You got to just make sure that things are even and lined up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very, very good seal to make on a lathe. You could you can make them by hand. And then later on, like what I did is I put them in the lathe and then made sure that everything was good and straight and sealed really fully in once I had it a little bit bigger.
Right. Once you'd put another couple sections on, you took the whole thing to the lathe for one of the attachments and straightened everything up.
And then I was able to heat up the other seal and, it worked out good.
We'll see that a little later on here.
Yeah, but we, spoiler alert, we're going to use a lathe.
Hey, use the tools you got.
Exactly.
So you pulled down some tubing here for a more classic wigwag. Just pop most of that in the kiln and get a little section ready here. And this is going to be more classic kicks.
And this is like one of the fastest wigwags I've ever done in my life. You guys are really going to think this is crazy.
Yeah, you really put the turbo on for this one since you knew there was going to be a lot of glass blowing, right? We didn't have a lot of time for this wigwag.
We've shown you guys tons and tons of wigwags, and there's tons of information on it. So we're going to speed this up a little bit for you guys.
Yeah, just breeze through this 5,000%, get her done real quick here. Yeah. But it's just, heat it up, twist one way, let it cool, heat it up, twist the other way.
Yeah,
let it cool.
For those of you guys that are just starting, please go back and check out how to make a wigwag, or, get that free trial on the website. There's tons of wigwag videos on there too, where I go into a lot more detail about how to make different kicks and spirals and things like that.
Totally. Yeah, check out the OG how to make a wigwag pipe video.
Yeah,
just right up on in the corner channel. There.
Yeah.
So just condensing that back now that you got all those kicks in there, just making it into a ball.
And we're going to use this for a disc. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a disc that then attaches to the donut, and this is going to be kind of the centerpiece of that.
So it'll be a wigwag centered in a black disc that matches the neck.
Yeah, exactly.
So since it's going to be in the disc, you want to make sure your terminations are nice, right? Since the whole wigwag is going to be very visible from the front.
Yeah, you definitely want to make, absolutely these terminations have to be on point, and in general, terminations should really always be on point.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Somebody's going to see it.
Uh-huh.
Unless you hide it.
Put an opal over it.
Exactly.
I've seen somebody do that.
Classic move. It's a good one, honestly.
Yeah.
So you just switch your axis there, pull all that clear out. Of course, make sure no clear is there to throw off that termination.
So I'm just pulling it, twisting it a little bit. You can see there's a little bit clear left in there. So I'll go back in and pick it out. So there's nothing left, because if there's stuff left, it's going to show. You're going to see an ugly termination.
Right. You're
whatever.
like, dang. So, as we've shown you guys, switch the axis on that, got it on the punty there, and just going to open up that end so that it's ready to connect to a section of black tubing you'll shape up.
Yeah, the disc, the black tubing for the disc.
Exactly. Just open that up a little bit with the jacks there, and looks good. Brian,
There's Sleepy Bee.
Exactly. He's going to take a little peek at it, and I think it passes the approval. Looks good.
Yeah.
Into the kiln it goes.
Let's put it in the kiln. Speaking of kilns, we're using the Scut Scarab regular size.
Big boy kiln for this one.
Not the mini.
Not the mini. Well, two reasons not the mini. One is it does need a potentially a new relay.
Yeah, so we called Scut, and we're trying to figure out what's going on with the kiln. Hopefully they help us figure it out and send us whatever parts we need.
Do a little troubleshooting here, get on the horn with them. I'm sure we can figure it out. They're always good about that once we get it opened up.
Yep.
So we're using the plus, this really wouldn't fit.
No.
Once we get it built.
Once we, especially the components and everything with anybody else in the studio, definitely we had to turn on. It was fun to use, honestly. Like, it was quite comfortable, and I think everyone can work together in it. So I'm wondering, do you think that it's going to be cheaper to run just the big kiln or the two small kilns?
I wonder. I feel like probably the big kiln, because it loses heat more easily.
Big kiln more expensive?
Big kiln more expensive because it goes off of set temp a lot more easily.
Because
the door is
so big.
The door is so big, and there's more air gaps. Every time you open the door, more air comes out. Versus on the Scarab Mini, you open the door and close the door quick enough, it doesn't necessarily fall below set point.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's good to have the big one for when we want to make big pieces. It's definitely been fun to use. You can see I'm twisting it up like I was talking about earlier, guys. Like, this is what I'm doing right here. Is just twisting that up. See, it's spiraled towards my right hand, and I'm making it more spiraled towards my left.
Just like spiraling if you're going to just spiral some line tubing for a wigwag.
Yep.
It's just all black.
Yep.
And just working your way down the tubing like you would for any other section there.
I love the way it looks when it's spiraling and hot. So pretty.
Super cool. Yeah. And especially once it gets into a disc, it's even cooler.
Yeah. So now I'm going to, make sure that everything is the right spiral, and then condense this down a little bit, blow it into a sphere, sink it down into a disc.
And the Mirage Flame is the workhorse, really, of the Torch. I would say, I don't know, 60% of the time you're using the Mirage Flame, maybe 50%, 40% Lynx, 10% Delta Mag, maybe even less Delta Mag.
Something like that. It's like having the big kiln, right? The Scut is great to have. It's not something I need to use every day for all of my work. Delta Mag, it's great to have. It definitely is really handy at times. And we could have completed this piece with just a Mirage and a Mini, for sure.
Even a Phantom, right?
Even a Phantom.
Totally doable.
Yeah, totally doable with a Phantom. This whole entire piece and a Scut Scarab Mini.
Totally doable. And if you were going to do a piece like this scaled down, you could totally do it on a Lynx, no problem. Or a Bethlehem Bravo, Alpha.
Absolutely.
You kind of work to the size of torch you have.
And really the parts of this piece where we need a bigger flame are when we're making this disc and when we're making the bottom, chamber, basically. Everything other than that is really small stuff, and all the seals especially, right? Like, you can make a big piece with Lynx using all these seals,
Right.
You really don't need a Mirage to do straight seals and side seals and things like that. It would just melt it.
Networking stuff like that, that's all done with a mini torch even, right? You can make a big piece from small connections.
We get asked a lot, I'm just starting off to blow glass. Do you have any advice on equipment? What should I get, a Lynx? Should I get a Cheetah? Even in the last video. And, for those of you guys who are starting off, the answer is always buy a Lynx over a Cheetah. And, invest what you are comfortable with now, knowing that you can always upgrade, sell your equipment, have it in their studio for extra for a friend. So just, whatever you guys can afford. Everyone's different. Some people can do it on a few $100. Some people want to spend several $1,000s.
As of right now, as long as your glassblowing equipment is taken care of, the retail market seems to be great. GT2s hold their value very well, specifically. Most torches do, I would say, hold their value pretty well. Same with kilns, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, kilns are a little trickier because they're heavy.
Right. It's hard. You
Yeah.
know, you got to find somebody local,
Yeah.
pretty much, right?
But the torch, the GTT torches, you use that for years and probably sell it for, $100 or $200 less than you paid for it.
Totally.
As long as you don't mess it up.
Exactly. Take care of your tools, proper maintenance, things like that.
So I did a little bit like a medium looseness on this one, right? Because I wanted still to kind of keep with that wave pattern, and then just, flick off your punny, melt that in, and then we're going to make a disc out of this.
Exactly. Just going in with your flame there. And so you didn't shape your black section all the way back into a disc yet. You kind of started it into that shape, but then you connected on this section of wigwag because it's all going to become the disc at once, and you want to shape them together.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like pre-shaping. We've talked about this a little bit, trying to set myself up for the ease of getting it into the shape that I want.
And you can see just condensing that wigwag ball back, and now the wigwag is almost the whole face of your section there.
And this is like way too much black than I need for this disc, so I can take some off the back and, then just use what I want from it.
Right. It's a little bit better to start with more than you need, especially with the spiral.
Yeah.
Because you can't really add more to the spiral and make it match.
I mean, you would have to do encalmos. You can make it
up,
look
right?
good or
put
whatever.
another section in, but it
yeah.
couldn't just be more black, really.
Like if you wanted to put another wigwag on the backside.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Totally.
So there we go.
Looks good.
The first wigwag in there. And now we're going to take off the excess on the back, basically. Pop the hole, take off the excess on the back.
Mm-hmm. Give that, nice heat. Make sure it's all even there.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no stress around the edges of that disc. And now you can, you're going to pop a hole on the side before you put a punty on the face and take that blow tube off, because that'll, give you someplace to blow through it still.
So I'm going to grab my brass reamer here, open that hole up a little bit. And now I'm going to attach a punty to the face of this. I want to be careful. Ooh, what's that, Kevin?
That's this sweet HVO Pro system. It's pretty cool. So it shows you your pressure, you got your oxygen purity, and HVO can even, monitor if there's a problem, right? It'll alert HVO if there's a problem with your system.
It's a cloud, yeah. So HVO is high volume oxygen. For those of you guys who are unfamiliar, is a company that sells a system so that I don't need to buy oxygen from a welding supply. I can make it at my house. And I've worked with them for years. In fact, Revere Glass was the first large studio to use the system to test it out. And, I think I've been running it for 8-9 years or something like that. And finally, the compressor needed to get rebuilt, sent it back to HVO, and I upgraded to the Pro system.
It's pretty cool.
Oxygen purity is amazing to know, and they text me if it gets low.
Right. The system sends you like a text alert.
And I can see it on the internet. It's like Wi-Fi connected.
It's pretty sweet.
Very cool.
It's pretty sweet. And we're always just like, ooh, wow, look how high the purity is. What, 95?
Well, we got it to 97.
I know the first day you had it, it was up to 97. I was like, wow,
really
that's
good.
Pretty nice. And of course, when it's constantly filling, it falls to usually 93, 95
like
when we're working, which is still, I would say, quite good.
Excellent. As long as glass blowers sometimes can use down to 90. 94 is considered high for glass blowing. My guess is in the tanks, it couldn't be much more than 95 in the compressed tanks. But if you guys know what the purity is in a liquid or a compressed tank, put the numbers down. I'm curious.
Yeah, would love to know if somebody works in the industry.
Yeah. So we're gonna
press time.
Marcel.
This thing is a beast.
Yeah.
So you just heated that disc up to get it really nice and evenly hot, and you're just gonna press down. And it has graphite pads there to not mar the glass. Get you a better shot here of the next one. So usually a multi-stage process.
And just like with everything, there are many ways to make a disc. I particularly like this way if it's a smaller disc. I just feel like I get really even and I can control the thickness really well.
Rather than trying to press between, a Marver paddle and your pad or something like that, it can be very hard to get it super flat, whereas these are set up flat to each other.
Or, spinning it out. If I was going to make it a little bit bigger, I would just use centrifugal force. Totally.
Spin it on a punty or spin it on, opposite to the axis you're on now.
So just melting it in, taking off any of the marks. There's this. That should look all right.
Yeah, I like that. I love those when the spirals come in, and of course you positioned the disc so the spirals are top and bottom.
Yes.
Right. You positioned the hole next to a spiral.
On purpose, right? And that's one thing to keep in mind. When you're popping your holes, think about where things are going to line up, and it makes a difference.
Right. It contributes to the flow, definitely.
So I'm going to open up this donut, get that ready for the attachment.
Pop that hole there, and you want to open these to the same size so you have this all ready to go. Little reamer there, since it was not quite a nice hole for the jacks yet.
Yeah, so that's why we have multiple tools to try different things and to use it when we need. Put that in the kiln.
Just gonna get this guy's hole size ready as well, so we're all ready for assembly in the next video here.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna start putting this guy together in part 2.
Yeah. So this is kind of some prep work. Part 2 is going to be some assembly, and part 3 is some final assembly and finishing, basically.
Totally, attachments, extra pieces, things like that.
Yeah, make sure you guys comment on any of these videos, because we're going to give this piece away. So comment.
Drop
Let us know
one
what you
down
think.
below. Ask some questions. We'd love to see what you guys want to know.
We're here to help you guys.
So there you go. That's how that'll look once they're attached. I think that looks pretty good.
All right. Well, hopefully it turns out all right. We'll see what happens.
I'm ready for next time.
So there's the neck and the lip wrap. You can see the donut and the disc there. The different ways that the tightnesses of the wigwags are and how they're looking.
Yeah, the kind of interplay between that tight one with the spirals on the disc and then the looser wavy one on the neck.
Yep.
And of course, this will tie into the rest of the piece in the next one.
Make sure you comment on the video, ask a question, and please like and subscribe for the channel. Welcome back, you guys. We hope you enjoyed the piece, at least the first section of it. I hope that you learned something, a tip, maybe a trick, something that you can use in your own work. It was really fun making this piece and putting it together, just doing the whole headpiece session with Kevin and sharing it with you guys. So thanks for watching. Make sure to check out the next 2 videos that are coming up for the completion of this thing.
Totally, yeah. It was a lot of fun, working on this guy. It's been a while since I've watched you put a headpiece together, and it's fun, just hanging out in the studio, watching some TV. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Well, I have some questions for you, Dustin.
Alrighty.
Can't throw off the plan this late into the program.
We got to do it, you guys.
All right, let's see here. First question from Tau Glassworks. What kind of hand and arm stretches do you do?
Well, I do this sometimes to stretch my wrists. Things like this, circles in each direction. Sometimes I do some stretches like this. I try to do some yoga too, and work out if I can.
A good wrist-specific one Emily Marie showed us was where you put your thumb in your hand and then tilt your wrist forward, and that really stretches this out.
Yep.
Which can be good. That can get really sore from turning for a long time.
It's a really important question. You guys and us and everybody has to take care of their bodies. On the online school, in the forum, there's actually a section called the long haul, which is giving suggestions on how to, treat your body well over the long haul of blowing glass.
Totally. You only get one pair of hands and one pair of eyes, so, gotta take care of them.
At least until the cybernetic stuff happens.
Yeah, right? Lathe, built right into the arm. Anyway. Up next here from Nathan Quick. So they're trying to decide between getting a lynx or a cheetah, but they're going to run it directly off an Oxycon to start out. Which way should they go?
Yeah, no, we've definitely talked about this before. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, starting off, and maybe this is your first or second video you're checking out, always choose the lynx. Unless you really don't want that precision, don't need that precision of the lynx flame, I would say always go for the lynx.
Yeah, having the option for that extra center oxygen is really, really nice.
Yes.
And it's not much more than a cheetah.
150, 200 bucks.
It's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
And the rest of Nathan's plan is great. He's going to buy a couple Oxycons over time, get an HBO, and then he can upgrade to a Mirage. Perfect plan.
You can do that with glass blowing. Just buy what you need at the moment. As you expand and get better, you can add in more components, especially the HVO, add in components, and then you have a torch for your friend.
Totally, yeah. Somebody comes over, wants to learn, it's perfect, Last up here from Brand Scovian. In another video, you mentioned that you have a Herbert Arnold in the shop, but you're a big GTT fan.
Yeah.
Both good for different purposes. What situations would you use one over the other?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I love both the torches. The Herbert Arnold I would switch to the Herbert Arnold from the GTT when I'm working with a color that tends to boil or is really difficult to use. or if I'm making maybe some thinner stemware, blowing things out thinner. If I want a soaking slower heat, I would switch over to the Herbert Arnold. But other than that, penetrating heat, Marinis, thicker stuff, regular pipe shaping, I tend to lean towards the GTT.
Totally. And you don't personally do a ton of thin stringer work, but if you were going to do some disc flips or something, the Herbie would be great for that.
Exactly.
Also.
Some drawing, things like that. The Herbert's great for that.
Check out the Cuddle Assassin video where she did the disc flip, and she uses the Herbie for that, and that super soft flame is nice.
Yeah, and a lot of really great artists who draw use Herbert Arnolds.
Totally. Well, we have some things to give away, Dustin.
Some things and some surprise things.
So there were so many of you guys that wanted those grabbers, which is awesome. We love seeing that there are so many new glass blowers, people getting into it. Yep. So we're actually gonna give away 3 sets of grabbers here. Mountain Glass was nice enough to hook it up with a couple more.
Yep, thank you, Mountain Glass. And we are definitely excited to ship out 3 of these grabbers as opposed to 1.
Totally. So first one here to Sog Nuts. Next one to Jared Rosen. And then to Electrical Science. Thank you all so much for commenting, and we hope you use them. Hope they get to make some cool stuff with them.
Yeah, just send Kevin your address on the IG, the Instagram.
Yep, Instagram, Discord. Probably the 2 best ones.
And yeah, we'll ship them out to you guys.
Totally, and we may be giving away a couple more tools in the next couple finale videos as well.
Yep.
Since we aren't giving away the big piece in the next video.
Yeah. So we're gonna. Because it's a 3-part video, if you want to comment on any or all of the next videos, this one and the next 2, we're going to pick the best comment from all 3 videos to give this piece away, and we'll ship it to you, of course.
Totally. We'll have a little recap video after the last after the finale, and we'll find out who the winner is.
Cool.
We do have to give away the little jar, though. That is going away right now.
Let's give that little jar away. I loved making that jar.
That was a fun one, and it seemed like a lot of people liked it too.
Those threads.
Yeah, that's a fun trick.
Yeah.
This one is going to Stolen Drugs. Thank you very much, and shoot me your address, and I'll get that shipped out to you.
Yeah, man. Now you got something to put them in.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, you guys. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, guys. Bye.